That is Spirit of the Radio by Rush, played wrong. So this video idea came about the other day when I was online searching for the top 20 most iconic guitar licks of all time. I want to keep doing those face-off videos of which lick is tougher to play, and I found myself wondering how come a solid dozen of the guitar riffs that I think are the most iconic ever do not seem to be on most of these lists. And then I realized I've been at this for 30-some years, and licks and riffs that I think are iconic go back a ways and might not be known by people from today. So because sharing is caring, I'm going to show you my top 5 favorite licks that aren't on all the lists, and maybe you'll discover some stuff that you haven't heard before. Also, when you're done seeing the ones I picked, please share with me in the comments a few of your favorites that aren't on every typical list. And also, why is Smells Like Teen Spirit on almost every one of these top guitar riffs lists? It's just a cool chord progression, right? I mean, I like it, but it's not a guitar riff, is it? I don't know. Tell me your thoughts about how you define a guitar riff or lick versus just a chord progression. Now, one last thing before I start. There's an amazing riff I wanted to put on this list, but I can't quite play it right yet. I don't want to run into any copyright problems by playing the music on here, so I'll link to it at the end of this video, and you can go check it out in all its riffy brilliance. And now we'll do my top 5. Again, I'm just going to play them. I'm not going to play the actual recordings because YouTube, copyright, blah, blah, blah. You can go check them out if you want to hear the songs. They're great songs. Okay, my first one here is from Spirit of the Radio by Rush, and Alex Lifeson is one of my all-time favorite guitar players. I actually have a video dissecting his style, which I'll link up here. But that lick, the way I played it in the beginning there, the first time I saw somebody play it, they tapped it, which is what I did in the beginning, but it's actually a picked part. It's a cross-picking, outside-picking thing, which is really tough to do, and kudos to Alex. So basically the riff goes like this. You start with a downstroke, 2nd fret E string to the open, and then you're going up, and then you downpick the D, 3rd fret on the B string, and then to the open E string. So that's the pattern of the right hand, and then you're just switching what the top note is doing. Then back to the 2, and then instead of the 5, you do the 4. You can hear it can be very difficult to keep up with the picking and do it right on that one. It gets sloppy very quickly, and it's just a cool rotating looping part where they change the chords behind it. I love the sound of it. Let's get on to the next one. So this next one is probably one of my all-time favorite songs. The first one I played on the stage on guitar, probably not very well either. It kind of crosses between riff, lick, and chord thing, but, well, it's really cool. Let me show you. You start by sliding up to the 7th fret on the low E. Then you play the D note on the A string, the 5th fret. Then you have a little bit of a click. And then you have an E chord. And you just keep repeating that. And a D chord. C, D. You have that little in between. When I come back to the riff again, I have like a clicky kind of thing happening. And I really like how he utilizes his right hand. It became a big part of my style. And I actually also have a video on George Lynch's style, which I'll link up here. So anyway, we had and then when he comes back to it, again to the E, D, C, D, G, A, A. Simple as that. But man, sometimes simple is just the best. It's that little touches and styles and the right hand stuff that he has going on there. Let's move on to the next one. No list of great guitar licks is complete without Iron Maiden, right? And this is their most iconic one. I'm going to show you the main guitar because, well, the whole thing's harmonized because it's Iron Maiden. All this stuff is harmonized, of course, but the main guitar is starting here, 7th fret on the A string. We're doing alternate picking, and then the 3rd note pulls off to the D, the 5th fret, and then we play the B note on the 7th fret of the E string. So, and then we're just going to slide that basic idea down to the next 2 positions in the G major scale. So the next position would be 5 to 3 to 5, and then it's 3 to 2 to 3. And then he does this pickup thing where he slides to the 5th fret on the A string, 5th fret D string, 5th fret A string again. And then he hangs there on that note because it doesn't land on the 1. It's a cool little turnaround trick. And then on the next half of the lick, they come up here, play the octave of the, and now they're doing this cool thing with trills in it where you play You start on the E on the G string, 9th fret. Then you go to the 8th fret on the next string, the B string, and do a quick trill between the 7th and the 8th. And then you play the 7th fret of the E string, back to the 8th fret here, and then a trill. Back to the G, and then 2 notes of the E. And you keep repeating that pattern while the chords move behind it, kind of like happened in Spirit of the Radio. It's always a cool trick. Now let's move on to the next one. This one I didn't see on any of the lists. It's Carry On My Wayward Son by Kansas, which is like an all-time great lick. And it sounds a little bit similar to the other ones, the last couple I did. You know, it's that same kind of position on the neck, but well, check it out. It's fantastic. Starts on the 5th fret A on the E string. 5, 3, 5, 3. Then the same thing, 5, 3, 5, and then the 5th fret. Then you slide up to the E, 7th fret, 5th fret. Then you're going to pick 3 notes here, 7, 5, 3. Then back to the 5 on the A string, 3 on the E string, 5 here, 2 on the E string. Then we have some chord stuff going on. This great sounding chord. That is a gnarly chord. And that chord is the 7th fret on the E string, 6th fret on the D string, 7th fret on the G string, and 8th fret on the B string. This part's a little challenging. You have to roll open E string, 5, 7, then just like in the Trooper, 5 on the A string, 5 on the D string, back to the 5 on the A string, and then the E note, 7th fret on the E string. Rolls off the fingers really cool once you get it going. Then you go with the E string again, and we're playing the top of an E minor chord. So 9th fret, 9th fret, 10th fret. Play that sus4, that note there, and then to the minor note on the 8th fret. That's the meat of the lick there. The last one we're going to is definitely the most challenging. This last one is by the guy who I think is the most talented of the shredder guys from the era he came out in, and probably got the least recognition from people not in the direct guitar world. His playing is very subtle. Stuff that sounds like it's simple is actually really difficult, which this is a perfect example of. Cliffs of Dover by Eric Johnson. The chorus lick from Cliffs of Dover is a good example of that, where it doesn't sound super complicated, but it's hard to get into your fingers, especially with this kind of shuffle feel it has. Again, we're in G major. We're starting on the 14th fret D string, and then we slide to the 12th, back to the 14th. We play the 17th fret on the G string. We bounce back to the 14th fret A. Then we go to the 14th fret on the A string, or on the G string, excuse me, for an A note. Then we slide from 17 to 14. Then it's 12, 12. Then we slide from 14 to 12. Then we go to the 12th, the D here. Then we play this quick up, 11, 12, 14. And really the hardest part of this is getting the feel. Then we continue the idea on the 16th fret here. 12, 12. Then we go 16 to 14. Then 12, a staccato 11. And then it's 12 on the G string, 11, 9. 12. So kind of hard to talk and play and give you the feel, so I'm just going to do it slow. And playing that up to speed is tough. Now the same thing repeats, the lick repeats again, but we just play something different at the very end of it. So it's again. Then we go. And we pen from the 15th fret up. And that's the whole lick. It's a beautiful lick and a nice chorus. And all that's left now, well, I'm going to give you my little goodbye. And then after that, you'll see the one I can't play. So there's 5 licks from when I was learning the instrument that are completely iconic in my mind. Some of it was music that made the charts, and some was probably just known to guitar players. Again, tell me a few of yours. And until next time, guys, keep making great music. Ah! Too Many Notes by Steve Morse. Definitely check it out.